Hello out there, good morning in there, out there from in here. Out here, the cats are rumbling. Vivi's had her walk in the wind. Big winds here. You too, wherever you are. Hi, Mark. Very, very special hi to Marilyn and Kristen. Very special. We did a soul collage over the weekend. That's where you make a collage, and this one was based on our ancestors. And then you look at it, and there are questions you ask, and you keep staring at it. And what did you discover? And you tell each other things. Can you hear the cats? And I discovered I have a whole lot of empathy for my dad. That's what I discovered. That was a pretty big thing. Julie's here, right over there. You know this can't happen without Julie. I had cataract surgery on Monday. It was like going to the spa. The only thing is, I'm not sure. There were tales about the silliness that happened out of me on Versed. Now, I asked for some to bring home. But oh my goodness, what wonderful people. I mean, it was like being at a spa. Just every few minutes, everything comfortable, Mr. Riddle. And here's the tricky thing. You're not supposed to eat breakfast before surgery, right? Everybody knows that. It's the first time this has ever happened to me. Do you know what they did? Several times, somebody would come up and say, Mr. Riddle, what did you have for breakfast? Isn't that smart? I mean, very zen-y kind of. And then I asked, did you ever have anybody say that, answer? And they said, yeah, every week they have to send somebody home. But me, Mr. Thinky, I'm going, wait a minute, maybe I was supposed to have breakfast. So I started making up stuff like, well, I had 2 eggs over easy and some home fries, a little bacon, a couple pancakes. So I thank everybody at the eye surgical place. I have wonderful one-on-one people. Hi out there if you're there. I love being with them on Zoom. They're in New Mexico, New Jersey, up north. I'm just looking here to see what's up. The Pirates lost 100 games, my Pittsburgh Pirates. There's 162 games, and they just broke it right off. 62 and 100. Poor guys. You must think back over all the one-run losses that they could have won to keep from losing 100. Keep looking for those little mysteries. There's one. There's another one. I already said it was windy here. I want to talk a little bit about teaching. Oh, the crop walk. Can you believe this little group of 9 of us? We ended up 3rd in the entire country. Is that not right? 3rd in the entire country. 9 of us. For the crop walk. We weren't Protestants. I think that's sainthood stuff, don't you? I think that's pretty close. That's what I think. I don't know what that says. Oh, I get 100 political ads a day, don't you? Oh my goodness. And the final thing is tonight. What do they call that? Everybody knows. You know, where they're interviewing for the January 6th thing. They're having one tonight. I don't like to get into especially with you guys. I really want to get rid of him for our heart's sake, and all those people who lie. And It's not the first time in history. If you read Heather Cox Richardson, you know that, but you know, I've been around aware since Harry Truman. I like Ike. Don't ever remember anything affecting us psychologically like this. We watched the original Pink Panther the other night. It's not an action movie. Boy, that really showed the kind of the history. There's a lot of dialogue. It's mostly dialogue and Clouseau doing a pratfall. Dialogue, pratfall. That's about it. And then there's a little tiny car chase at the end. Nothing like the French Connection or action movies nowadays. Kind of glad. Our daughter teaches all day, of course, 5 classes a day. And then this week they add on parent conferences. Now, wouldn't you think if you were thoughtful of teachers, you'd say, you don't have to teach today, we're going to have parent conferences. Wouldn't you think you could do that for them? So, I'm going to read what I'm reading right now, a little excerpt, and it might be, I apologize for I'm a little long today, but I'm trying to hurry and have a short poem. So there. I'm looking over here, what did I forget? So this is by Frank McCourt, you know, from Angela's Ashes, and this is his story called his book called Teacher Man, where he talks about teaching. And he says, when I taught in New York City high schools for 30 years, no one but my students paid me a scrap of attention. In the world outside the school, I was invisible. And then he goes on a little more and says, after that book was published, he's meaning Angela's Ashes that won all the awards. He was 69 when he wrote that. After it was published, I had the nagging feeling I'd given teaching short shrift. In America, doctors, lawyers, generals, actors, television people, politicians are admired and rewarded. Not teachers. Teaching is the downstairs maid of professions. Teachers are told to use the service door or go around the back. They are congratulated on having all that time off. They are spoken of patronizingly and patted, retroactively on their silvery locks. Oh yes, I had an English teacher, Miss Smith, who really inspired me. I'll never forget dear old Miss Smith. She used to say that if she reached one child in her 40 years of teaching, it would make it all worthwhile. She'd die happy. The inspiring English teacher then fades into gray shadows to eke out her days on a penny-pinching pension, dreaming of the one child she might have reached. Dream on, teacher. You will not be celebrated. And I think of the way they're treating teachers today. Oh, yes. My parents would just say, just go learn the stuff. You don't have to agree with the stuff. They're not indoctrinating you. They're teaching you. It's not indoctrinating, it's teaching. Oh dear. Okay, a little excerpt from a longer poem called Sweet for the Turning Year. Everything still okay, Vivi? You alert and ready to roll? Oh, I'm getting my wires all mixed up here. Look out. Sweet for the turning year. Sometimes when the dogs are asleep, and the whole world seems quietly poised between green and brown, when everything is lascivious with leaves, the ground, the porch floor, the holly bushes, even a few last trees, you can see a glimpse of the way the clapboard house was set within this woods. Almost see them nailing the sills under the windows and carrying in the kindling. The air sifts across your forehead, and you look up. Hear the chill jabber of the chickadees, the quick scattering of chipmunks, and in the anonymous distance, the disappearance of the sound of children. Or was it a car? There's no need for a letter in the mail, no thought of putting away the pots of yellowed impatience. Just this little time and perhaps a little more. be kind, take care, try to be cheerful. I love thinking of who's out there now that I know that some of you are. Warms the old heart.